A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
High noon and welcome in. It's the Mason Crosby Show, middays with Thunder and Tommy here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Tommy Wirtz. We're presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. And while I know Verizon would never choose favorites and that they are partners with all of our NFC North teams, we all know that they really like the Green Bay Packers the best, because the Packers took care of business yesterday, 23-6 over the hapless, and I mean hapless Minnesota Vikings at Lambeau Field, improving to 7-3-1, staying a quarter of a game. Yep, you can look it up. A quarter of a game behind the luckiest team on turf, the Chicago Bears, the biggest fraud, who are about to find out over the last 5-6 weeks of the season what this is all really about, as the Green Bay Packers get ready for Thursday. Today is Thursday, as we look forward to the Packers playing on a Sunday. The Packers play this Thursday on Thanksgiving Day, noon in Detroit. Tommy, co-host of the post-game show, the Green Bay post-game show yesterday. Hopefully you got a nap in on Saturday while watching that delicious Wisconsin Badgers dominant performance. That was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And here you are. And how you feeling, brother?
Big football weekend in the state. Football weekend. That game yesterday.
High school championship games.
It was state finals.
Yep.
Yeah. Arrowhead. Shout out Arrowhead. They were D1 champs, I believe. Right?
Shout out Bayport for going for it.
Yeah. They went for it.
You can literally see Bayport High School from Rob Hall's house.
Oh,
like when we were up
nice.
in Green Bay for the draft. For those of you who don't know, Rob Hall, good friend of Mason Crosby, who we happen to hang out with every once in a while.
Just a good friend to show.
Exactly.
Good friend to show.
Like from his back porch, you can see Bayport High School.
Well, and Corey Benke, who's been on, I believe, at least with Inside Wisconsin Sports, he might have been on this show, but we had Aaron Nagler, of course, too, Cheesehead TV. You can see Lambeau from there, and Lambeau was jumping yesterday. That was the place to be. The Packers, I think, Mitch, that we have been clamoring. We've been begging this team for a complete game. And while maybe it wasn't a perfect game from the Green Bay Packers, that's about as close as you can get to a complete game in the NFL.
So yes and no. And I think we've heard from a lot of people during Inside Wisconsin Sports, during 9 to noon with Kuhn and Rami and Snizzle, about the game yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so now's your chance on the Mason Crosby Show, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. And before we get to, actually, I'll tee this up while talking about it. It was, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what the word is. If it's dominant or if it's workmanlike, or if it's methodical. I'm not exactly sure what the word or words are for what the Packers did yesterday. The Packers needed to show up. They needed to play their game, make no mistakes, and get out of this game healthy. And they checked all those boxes.
Yeah.
I don't know that we thought J.J. McCarthy would be this bad. I mean, he came back against the Bears last week. Like, they had a comeback.
He did it in week 1.
Well, he did in week 1, which is
completed it.
At this point is ancient history.
Yeah.
But even last week against the Bears, who are now 8-3, he did it with 40 seconds left or whatever it was. Then they give up a kick return to midfield.
Yep.
And Cairo Santos ruins all of our dreams of the Bears stinking again. But even in that end of game scenario, it looked like J.J. McCarthy isn't a complete embarrassment. Like, he's not great. He wasn't great. Overall, during the game, he wasn't great. What he performed yesterday on the field was an like it was an affront to all things ball.
Yeah.
It was abhorrent. It was awful. It was disgusting.
Sure.
It was an embarrassment. And there's no way any even JJ McCarthy defender can defend what he did on the field yesterday.
You can definitely say that the Vikings looked worse more than the Packers looked better yesterday, if that makes sense. Like,
I think think
the Vikings much bigger problems than Packers much bigger solutions to their season right now. There is a real chance that JJ McCarthy does not play another football game after this year. Like that was displayed yesterday after his performance. But I think that a lot of people have been struggling to like identify this Packers team, and this Packers team, they've been trying to tell us this, and just because it hasn't translated to victories along the way, the defense is this team's identity. Like that is 100%. It is a 2000s Baltimore Ravens-esque type team where you can say, you know, Trent Dilfer might not be the guy, but is this defense good enough to win football games? And if they are on their A game, this Packers team will be competitive in every single football game. Yes. And they just did that yesterday. And while you say, I think that this is a great game for Green Bay because they didn't really play with their food. There was opportunity for them to maybe do a little more aggressive, play calling or a different approach to the game. They really got bailed out by the muffed punt. Like that was a total change in the entire game. But Green Bay at the end of the day, that game, they were up 7-6 and never held back from there. So a complete game, that's about as close as you get in the NFL in my mind. They allowed -1 yards in the second half. They allowed -1 yards. Did you hear that? Allowed -1? Yeah. That's crazy.
Which absolutely crazy. It's nuts.
It was terrible yesterday from Minnesota on the offense. And you can't do that with an elite defense. You need a terrible offense on the other side too. I understand that. But Micah Parsons showing up. We saw Rashawn Gary get in on some action. Isaiah McDuffie might have costed Quay Walker a contract yesterday.
Might have. Yeah. I have some funny takes about everybody you're bringing up. And you brought up McDuffie, and that made me think of like the funniest that I had in my head. But we want your first reactions to the game yesterday. 414-677-1250. Nicolay Law talking text line. What did you take away from this game? Do you think this is the Packers being dominant? Do you think it's Packers defense being dominant? Are you concerned, like numerous Twitter warriors are out there, about the vanilla of the offense? Are you worried about what you saw offensively from the Green Bay Packers? 414-677-1250. We're also on YouTube and on Twitter. You can find us at WI Sports Radio. That's at WI Sports Radio. You can find us at Tommy WSSP and at Thunder MKE. And the question about, was this a complete game for the Packers is the question that we've been asking all year, right? Since that Lions game and since that Commanders game in weeks 1 and 2, where we believed the Packers were
World
we didn't
beaters.
believe it. Rasheed Walker said, we're already thinking about 17-0.
Right.
Like we're good enough to go undefeated, which you could argue with the 3 losses in the tie, this team is good enough to be undefeated right now.
Good point.
But they have stubbed their toe. They have had missteps along the way. They're still 7-3-1. They're still in the place where they want to be right now. They still control their own destiny, as the Bears do and as the Lions do. Listen, if the Bears went out, the Packers went out, or the Lions went out, they win. They win the North. The Packers and Lions game, this game is especially, it's important for both the Packers and the Lions. But if the Lions lose this game, I don't think the Lions can win the North.
I think that's a good point.
Now, they can't finish in a tie with the Packers unless they tie a game.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't happen. But I think it would be absolutely just truly difficult for the Lions to win the North if they lose on Thursday. So I think there'll be a little desperation there. I think you'll see Dan Campbell go back into his bag of tricks. They're going to stop playing like a favorite in this game and go back to playing Lions football, which will scare me. And we'll get into that. Today's my only day of the week, but I know you and Sparky, Tommy, you'll talk tomorrow and even more on Wednesday. You're going to talk a lot about that Lions matchup. So I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I will say, and our very good friend, Andy Herman. So I don't know what happened. Like I cut some Andy Herman sound and it's totally different in here than what I cut. So I don't know if I want to play it or not and make sure it's okay.
Don't play it.
It's still Andy.
I'll find it.
Yeah. Well, and the cut I had was like 1 minute and 50 seconds. For some reason, the cut I'm looking at right now is 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So I don't know if I doubled it at some point or if I just edited it wrong.
Let me listen to it and I'll go find it and cut it correctly.
But and we can even talk about it. So what Andy Herman said after the game yesterday is Andy Herman came, his Pack a Day podcast. He does it 365 days a year. So he comes on after the game yesterday and he says, this is what the Packers wanted and what the Packers needed. They got a lead. They were up 17-6. And once it was 17-6, unless crazy turnovers happen, which we saw on the other side, but unless crazy turnovers happen, your goal is to control the ball and not get anyone hurt. And with Jordan Love clearly favoring his left shoulder, with Emmanuel Wilson running as well as he was, there was no need for Jordan Love to throw the ball. There was no need for him to drop back where he could take a hit. Whether he gets sacked or not, there was no need for him to get hit. And there was no need to let this game draw out any further. This game ended at 2:40.
Yeah.
Because all they did was run the ball in a way we have not seen the Packers run in the past. And I know they talked about this on 9 to Noon with Kuhn as well. So many of those running plays look the same. And maybe they were run the same because A, because they were working, but B, because with Anthony Belton in the game, Tommy, can we go in the Wayback Machine?
Mm-hmm.
You have a Sharpie in there, right? Somewhere?
I do.
Yeah. Remember when we Sharpied Jordan Morgan?
Yeah.
Remember when we didn't know what position he would start at?
But we were writing his name in Sharpie.
Start somewhere because the team wanted him to start so badly.
Right.
And on some level, I'm sure they still want him to start so badly. But he's number 6, right? He's odd man out, right? After yesterday, he's odd man out, right?
Well, Anthony Belton looked awesome in right guard spot for sure. And the Packers offensive running game was, I mean, the numbers we saw yesterday from Emmanuel Wilson, we have not seen from Josh Jacobs at all this year. You pick the number, unless it's yards per carry.
Touchdowns.
2 touchdowns as well.
But overall yards
and attempts. They haven't had, Josh Jacobs has not had a game where he had 28 rushes in a contest this year. He has not done it.
I think that it says more about Jordan Love and the pace of this game. I think a fully healthy Josh Jacobs gets the exact same game as Emmanuel Wilson did, but they had to know, Josh Jacobs is coming back Thursday. They had to know we have to keep Jordan Love healthy, and they had to know the Vikings cannot score a touchdown against this defense. So there's no reason for us to do anything different because this game is over. We need to get off the field as quickly and as healthy as possible.
Sure. So the other take that I would love to get out there is coming from our good friend to show, Bart Winkler, as well, who basically said Matt LaFleur didn't earn that approach to a football game this year. And you can say that there was that moment of where he kicked the field goal when they were up 11, right? And you kick the field goal to go up 11 as opposed to being up 14. Like, what's the real difference in that, right?
I agree. I did not love that.
But I can say this, that you claiming that the same game would have happened from Josh Jacobs, I don't agree with at all.
Okay.
I don't. I think that what needs to be shown is that Emmanuel Wilson had over 90 yards after contact in this game. I think he had 13 yards before contact as a whole. Like, this is a game that I've been telling you that when Emmanuel Wilson has the football in his hands, he runs hard. He runs way different. But he does.
But he still averaged 3.8 a carry.
Correct. But that should be another testament to, I think the offensive line is still really not that good for Green Bay, and that Emmanuel Wilson is probably underrated as a part of this offense right now. And by all means, when Josh Jacobs is fully healthy, he is going to assume running back one roles. There is no controversy in the running back room by any means.
I don't think so.
But I could see this team not missing a beat with Emmanuel Wilson's game versus Josh Jacobs' game. And now I think Emmanuel Wilson, after having the performance he had, has probably earned himself 10 carries a ball game just from what he did. And you saw it was completely different. He was patient behind the terrible blocking. Every single guy seems to block harder when Emmanuel Wilson's in a pile as opposed to Josh Jacobs is in a pile. Chris Brooks did not have the same success running the football that Emmanuel Wilson did.
He did not. That is correct.
That was an Emmanuel Wilson effort game. He looked awesome the entire time.
I'm on board that I also love Manny. I think Josh Jacobs has a very similar game in a healthy situation in this game. I think, and it's hard to judge what we saw because we saw a number of 6, 7, 8 yard runs.
Sure.
And then we saw a number of -1 yard runs, right? Even in the field goal that they kicked to go up 14, they had 3rd and 3 at the 12.
Yeah.
And then, or at the 11, and they lose a yard on 3rd and 3, which probably in any other circumstance is a passing play.
Yep.
Right? If Jordan Love is healthy, passing play. If Josh Jacobs is playing the brunt of this game and Emmanuel Wilson's the third down back and Chris Brooks gets a snap here and there, it's a passing play. But with the way this game was going, knowing the Vikings can't get to 17 or 20 or 23 or whatever it ends up being, the prudent call. And I don't love it. I mean, Greg Olsen was very vocal yesterday about that. He did not love that play calling. He did not love the vanilla play calling.
Sure.
But I think he also probably underestimated Jordan Love's injury.
Well, that brings up a great point that my biggest problem with the run game 100% is that Jordan Love can only hand the football off with one hand.
Okay.
Like that just screams something wrong is going to happen when something happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're not putting it in the chest. You are like pulling your hand out at that time. I hate it.
Have you ever had one of those guns on your shoulder or on your back, or the boom, 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 like the vibration and stuff like that? I've done that at the chiropractor bar. Like, do you think from right now until Thursday morning, Jordan Love like has one of those constantly on him, just like working that left shoulder, whatever, because I think they're doing everything they can to get him as healthy. I mean, obviously they're doing whatever they can, but I think they're going like over and above, like with all the technology and whatever it is to get that shoulder structurally sound for Thursday at noon.
Yeah. Well, let's do this math on play calling. If I have another gripe about the run game. Hi, I have a quarterback who can't even hand the ball off with both hands, but then I run a read option with him at the exact same time, and Jordan Love pulls it and takes it. Like, he didn't take a hit, but you assume the risk of if you have a design play where your quarterback could run the football, he could take a hit, and yet he still can't hand the ball off with both arms. No, don't call that play at all. And,
yeah, I hear you, but I also, I mean, again, that's where the whole conversation about trust between LaFleur and Love comes in, right? That we've been having for the past month about does Love trust LaFleur and does LaFleur trust Love? If Love's going to make that call, LaFleur has to trust him enough to not get hit.
Right. Then tell him hand the ball off with both arms.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on with that. I don't like it. It's got to be uncomfortable steps compared to what you would take if you were going to hand the ball off with the correct hand. You have to have much better placement, right? Because you can't force the ball into there. You have to let the ball be taken from you as opposed to. So, but
I'm guessing they practiced that during the week.
I get it. And it sounds like
it's not like they just showed up and did that.
This is turning into a negative shift on the game that is just very nitpicky at this point, because Jordan Love at the end of the day didn't have to really play that well in order to come out with a victory.
No, Jordan Love didn't play well. He didn't play poorly. He just played.
Yeah.
Like, he just needed to show up, hand the ball off, have a couple throws. And listen, that throw to Wicks, backpedaling, was unbelievable.
Yep.
The couple throws to Watson, I actually do think the third down throw where Watson bobbled it and then re-got it, Detroit. How does Detroit not challenge that?
Minnesota. Yes,
Minnesota.
I
Right.
agree because
how do
he
you,
did like re-catch it in his fingers. I
when
know
he was out
exactly
of
what
bounds,
I know
right.
exactly what play
like
you're talking
how do
about.
the Vikings not to like?
Yes.
You got to be paying attention there.
Yes.
I know it was on the opposite sideline, but with all that said, a 23-6 win, and I went back to my original point about Belton is that I think a lot of the vanilla play calling was to get him comfortable too. And maybe he knows the whole playbook, but maybe he doesn't. And Kuhn said that. Kuhn said maybe he doesn't know the whole playbook yet. And if the plays are working, like if Wilson's getting 5-6 yards at a crack in some of those drives in the third and fourth quarter, just keep going with it. Like there's no reason to switch it up then.
No, and it was working. It worked. You know, they didn't put up 27 and win the ball game like everyone was expecting them to put up, but 23-6. The defense looks unreal.
Yeah, let's talk about the defense next because
we got to talk about this.
They were unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
How fun.
So
right?
fun.
Like if that's the defense, I talked about it last week that like I was bored watching the game last week, right? Like I was on my couch and I felt like it was painful that I had to sit through this one. And I felt the same way in the first half of this game. But the second half, the way the defense totally took over, it was just unbelievable. And I want to talk about your tweet at halftime as well, because it made me a little mad. Not in a bad way, just in an emotional fan way.
Okay.
Because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Right? And that's
call.
all. Yeah, like what you wrote didn't make me mad. My reaction to the game is what made me mad.
Let's do it.
You would never make me mad. It's all gumdrops and rainbows with us.
Yeah, perfect life.
Obviously. This is the Mason Crosby Show. 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Find us there. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitter at WI Sports Radio. He is Tommy. I'm Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers.
It was great. It was amazing. I think you hold a team to 6 points. It was great, and to be able to come up with so many turnovers like that, especially in the second half, it was a big time job by everybody on the defense. And obviously, I'm not sure how many sacks we had, but they're getting after them, and so just great job by them.
That is Jordan Love post game giving props, deserved props to the defense yesterday. Not just holding the Vikings to 6 points, not just getting the defense got 2 turnovers. Is that right?
Well,
because the special teams got one.
Yeah. What about a turnover on downs?
I like that. That counts.
That's 3 turnovers, right?
They tried to run the Tucker Kraft on them with Hawkinson, and it was just like it was a mess from the start.
Dude, I would be so upset if TJ Hawkinson was on my football team. Like, he stinks now, man.
And what happened? He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had the injury. I'm pretty sure he did mess up his ACL or something along those lines.
He did miss a year. Yeah.
Hasn't really been the same since.
I agree.
But every time the ball is in his hands, nothing exciting happens. Like, he's catching a ball for 4 yards, or he's getting stuffed on a QB sneak. Like, that's TJ Hawkinson's life now.
And let's talk about one of those hits, because I was watching the game with Big Rumble yesterday, and I didn't say this to her, but I was just about to turn to her and say that that I feel like McDuffie had just missed a hole.
Yep.
On a play. And I was just about to turn to her and be like, man, McDuffie, this might be a rough situation for him, playing this much full time, instead of Quay and having to step up a level. And then literally the next play is that little 4-yard pass to Hawkinson where McDuffie just lights him up to holy hell. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I did pull it.
Packers pass rush comes. Here's McCarthy finding Hawkinson, who got drilled right away. Isaiah McDuffie. Team captain, Jeff Hafley says captain, even though he doesn't say a word, the most physical, toughest guy on the defense.
So it's funny that you have the same thing, because I take notes on the game, and that was on the second drive of the game. And I put, he had just missed the tackle. And the first line I wrote is, McDuffie is just not Quay. That was on the second drive of the game.
Yep.
And then
Which was
2
true.
plays later, they had the fumbled snap that was on there, and then McDuffie smacked Hawkinson on 3rd down. That was also when Micah was starting to do his middle blitz on there and everything. And then he proceeded to have the best game on the defense, maybe, of anyone else.
Yeah.
He looked awesome. He looked great. But I kept that in there because I felt the same way, and it's like he took that personally after he missed that tackle, and then proceeded to have an unreal game and fill in for Quay Walker very nicely.
I love that we were on the same beat with
literally
that one.
wrote McDuffie is not Quay.
Yeah.
And then 2 plays
and
later,
I literally turned to tell Big Rumble that, and then he lights up Hawkinson.
Well, it's because Quay's been having an unreal year, and McDuffie doesn't get as much PT as him now.
You're gonna miss Quay when Quay's not playing. And we got the email on Saturday that the Packers were elevating the running back and the linebacker, which kind of was, FYI, if you know, Quay and Josh probably aren't playing.
Yes, and the other part that I thought was funny, another play from McDuffie yesterday.
To start his career, Rashawn Gary gets there this time and forces an interception. Gary got his hand on it, and Isaiah McDuffie picked it off.
If you were a real ball watcher, I turned to Charlie because he was already in by this time.
Okay.
Quay would have dropped that ball.
Yes. Those were hands. That was an athletic move to catch that ball.
My first words was oh, let's go. And then it was Quay would have dropped that. McDuffie hung on to it.
Because at first I was a little frustrated that Gary didn't knock the ball out.
Yeah.
That he got to the arm, but he didn't get to the ball, which wasn't his fault. He was reaching for it. But then the fact that McDuffie was able to hold on to that one was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and it was nice to hear Rashawn Gary's name again, right? It just felt like he's been dormant the last few weeks, and nothing has been coming from that side of the edge rushing. But then the Packers were just feasting, right? When it was Micah Parsons not getting home, then it didn't matter because it was Devontae Wyatt able to get home. And there was a couple of sacks where it was on J.J. McCarthy, I think, more than it was on the Packers defensive rush. Like I had my
there were a couple that he held onto the ball for no reason.
I was screaming, like, how did he not get rid of the football there?
Yep.
And Devontae Wyatt cleans up for a sack. But man, Micah Parsons.
Is Keyshawn Nixon okay, by the way? Speaking of Devontae Wyatt. Talk about running into a brick wall. That's me running into Charlie. If I ran into Charlie, I would go down and start crying the same way Keyshawn Nixon was crying. Not his fault. Like, he should be crying. Devontae Wyatt's a brick wall.
Yeah, he convinced me that I would never want to run into Devontae Wyatt at full speed.
Yeah,
that's what that did yesterday. After that play, it was a stinger. It was listed as, so I don't know
but like a good one. He got his shoulder big.
He got manhandled by a giant man for sure. And continuing this talk on the defense, like, this was another game where it felt like you could look at Micah Parsons and just say, worth every penny, right? Like, worth all the picks, worth Kenny Clark, worth the $188 million contract. Doesn't matter. That guy on your football team, unreal. And I don't know if it was schemed up because of how the Minnesota Vikings have been on the offensive line this year, or if it's something that we're going to see a lot more in the future. But Micah Parsons was blitzing from the middle on third down, like, every time it got to third down in obvious pass situations. And I don't know if that's something that he wants to do more than anywhere else. He did on one of Devontae Wyatt's sacks, I believe, completely blow that play up. And then obviously Devontae cleans it up. But him coming from the middle is something that they will continue to do most of the time on third down, as if yesterday was a trend.
Which is, it's fun to watch him do that because he has, like, so much creativity. Like, he can read the offense, he can read the running back, and he can read what hole to get into and how to attack the quarterback. By the way, he's up to double digits. He's up to 10 sacks, which is great. I just want to say, like, to Brett Favre, who gave Michael Strahan the sack record, and then to TJ Watt, who equaled it a couple years ago, right? You better enjoy it for the next month and a half, because Myles Garrett is absolutely obliterating this right? He's had 18 sacks already in 11 games.
He has 13 over his last 4 games.
Right. I mean, he has 7. Now, I know they play 17 now and 16. I think he'll break it in 16. I don't think he'll need 17. He needs 4.5 sacks the rest of the season to tie the record.
Yeah.
He's got 18 sacks. I looked at this. I mean, Burns from the Giants is excellent, and he has 13. Danielle Hunter.
He has 13, which is how many Myles Garrett has in the last 4 weeks.
Right. Yeah. Myles Garrett is absolute beast. Danielle Hunter from Houston, then Will Anderson from Houston, a great duo there. Then Micah Parsons at 10. And we're still waiting. Rashawn's still at 7.5. We're still waiting for some more there. But with Micah with 2 yesterday, with Devontae Wyatt with 2 yesterday, and then with the split sack with Simmons and the rookie,
Wooden,
right? Yeah,
Brinson.
Yeah, Brinson. I mean, 5 sacks. I know we spent the first segment ripping on JJ McCarthy, and JJ McCarthy took that, but that pressure and that defense was legit yesterday. And I gotta, who I want to give kudos to? I don't know if you're going to see this coming. You know who I want to give kudos to? I want to give it to the kid, Kamal Haddon. I think I mean, McCarthy was the overriding mess yesterday, but I think, like, Nixon goes out and Hobbs is already gone, and
Bo Melton is competing for your job.
Right, Bo Melton's not even playing on defense. Right, he didn't even play on defense yet. I don't even know if Bo Melton did he play on offense. Did Bo Melton play yesterday?
They had a timeout yesterday where he was a guy in motion.
Okay,
and they called timeout.
But no targets, and no defensive stats. And I didn't really see him on special teams either. I feel like on times they were done. But regardless, like, the secondary, like, you're still playing against Jefferson and Addison and Naylor. You're still playing against 3 pretty good guys that, if, like, JJ McCarthy can do anything, he could just, like, throw it up to those guys. And the secondary is playing pretty well right now.
Yeah, it's doing all right. And
right. I mean, not great, but it's doing okay.
They're not playmakers. They're play containers, right? Like, making sure that nothing happens. And that's really how this Green Bay Packers defense just continues to play all year, where they're not going to have anything that's shock value necessarily past their front four. It's going to be a lot of bend, don't break throughout this process. And Kamal Hadden, like you said, it's got to be something where I can't believe Jalen Naylor and Jordan Addison didn't get a catch. Like, right. I can't believe that. They both
got one target. Yeah. Is that crazy?
I can't believe that. That wide receiver room is one of the best in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings, and it's led by maybe one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in J.J. McCarthy. But to have no effect from Addison and no effect from Naylor, who's been having a great breakout season for them.
Yes, he has.
That has to be something on those cornerbacks as well. And again, like 9, not getting it done. He's atrocious. Yeah. He's maybe having like one of the worst rookie quarterback seasons statistically that you can have.
And yesterday's game obviously was that. I don't know if it was Rami earlier today or somebody else said that his quarterback rating was 34.2. If you go 0 for 19, you will have a better quarterback rating than going 12 for 19 for 87 yards and 2 interceptions, taking 5 sacks. Like if you go 0 for 24 in those 24 dropbacks,
and you will have the ball
and just spike the ball, you would have a better your default quarterback rating. I don't know what it is, but it's better than what his quarterback rating was yesterday.
He looked terrible. He had a negative EPA yesterday, which is something that never happens to in the NFL.
Did he litter?
He looked bad.
Oh, sorry. I thought Environmental Protection Agency.
No,
sorry, my bad.
No.
I'm old. I get confused.
Sorry. I wonder if WWF World Wildlife Foundation, EPA gets sued by, you know what I mean? Like they have to change it from there. That would be great.
414 writes in on the text and talk line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. That's why you get Micah. It will pay bigger dividends as the season goes on. And I think there's some truth to that. I think there's, as the season goes on, as the rest of the players learn how to play with him. But I also think kind of like we talked about, the secondary is just good. They're not great. But if your front seven is great, if you're doing really strong things with your pass rush and Wyatt is causing the kind of chaos he is and Wooden's in there, and then your linebackers are playing the way they're playing, you're not going to have 11 all-pros on your team, right? Like some of the guys are just going to be okay. But as long as they are okay, as long as they are doing their job and not messing up. I mean, that was the problem we had with Nate Hobbs, right? Nate Hobbs wasn't even doing his job. Nate Hobbs was atrocious. As long as, whether it's Valentine or whether it's Haddon or obviously Williams and Bullard are playing at a pretty high level right now. If that group can hold its own against, for instance, this Thursday, against Amon-Ra and
Jameson
Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs, who's unbelievable, by the way.
So good.
He might have had. Did he have a better day yesterday than Jonathan Taylor had?
He scored the most fantasy football points.
He did
55.4 fantasy points yesterday.
He's
insane.
Yeah,
he's very good at football. So the Packers neutralized that in week 1.
They did.
Right?
They did.
That was one of the best things that came from that game. Is he caught the ball 10 times, but for 29 yards or whatever it was during the contest. So I think that they really will want Quay back for that game because of the athleticism that him and Cooper bring to cover that half of the field on something along those lines. But what McDuffie did to step up in his moment, what Kamal Hadden did to step up in his moment, that's the next man up mentality that this team needs to continue when they are having the injury issues they've had this season.
Absolutely.
They haven't really gotten it from the wide receiver room other than Christian Watson, who I wouldn't really call a next man up, as more as we were waiting for this moment.
How good is he?
Dude, he might be really good. And
he might be really good, right?
This year, in his little bit of time, I feel like he's proved more to me than he did the previous years with this club.
Let's talk about the wide receivers, the tight ends, and some of the offense that we saw when we come back. He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nellis. It's Middays with Tommy and Thunder on the Mason Crosby Show. We're presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. We want to thank everybody listening on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Everybody on 710 The Game in Duluth Superior, 93.9 The Game in Wausau. and 99.7 FM WNFL, the best call letters in the biz in Green Bay. Of course, here in the fan, on the fan in Milwaukee as well. He's Tommy. I'm Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. It's Middays with Thunder and Tommy. Mason, Tommy, we allowed to like where he is in his travels right now? Like
he's on sabbatical.
Yes, he's on sabbatical.
He's
either
Mexico, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
Cancun.
Yeah,
half vacation, half visiting his niece.
Yes,
who is a
nurse.
missionary or a missionary nurse or something like that. Doing good deeds.
Yeah,
in Mexico, where I'm assuming it's warmer. It's not so bad today, though. Yesterday got really nice, Tommy.
Yeah.
All over the state, it was like I don't think it hit 60, but it was pretty close to 60 yesterday.
These fall days are the best days of the year.
Amen, brother.
The
Amen.
Wear a sweater and sweatshirt in comfortable weather.
Sweatshirt and shorts.
I used to be a sweatshirt shorts guy. I don't wear shorts that much anymore. I like to wear those like around the house.
Will they steal your look or something?
Yeah, I tend to be more of like a jeans or a khaki type guy now, but I love those type of days where it's like 55, little crisp. The crisp air is always the best.
You're not a sports pants kind. Like I wear my Adidas a lot or my like wind pants.
No,
I do that.
I do wear like a jogger.
Okay,
a pretty common sweatpants jogger type thing.
So I'm traveling tomorrow. That's what I wear. But it's more of like, it's not a sweatpant. It's more of a thinner material jogger. I wear that when I fly, mostly because one of the sides has a zipper, has a pocket that zips, and I like having that when I travel.
Zip pocket is pretty essential when you travel. As someone who has actually lost stuff in an airport, I'm all in.
I lose stuff walking down the hall, so it's like. You can only imagine me travel time. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talking text line. We're talking Packers today. We got to give a shout out to the Badgers, though, right? Like we got to say, what a game Saturday night. I put the game on, assuming I would have it on in the background and I'd do something else. And Big Rumble and I finished watching. She had never seen Thunderbolts, so we finished watching Thunderbolts, aka the New Avengers, starring Florence Pugh.
Nice.
Well, I absolutely love. She's fantastic. And David Harbour from Stranger Things. He's, the Red Guardian. But like I figured we'd like watch. We had started it Friday. We had like 40 minutes left. We finished it. The Badger game was starting. I thought we'd watch another movie, watch something else. And like we couldn't not keep watching the Badger game. I mean, it wasn't great. The first half wasn't great, but it kept like it just felt like 2 weeks ago when they played Washington. They got the momentum and they kept that momentum at home, enjoying it. Again, they stormed the field again. And I know people are complaining about that. And to me, it was just a shared communal moment of joy. It's not a storming of the field. That's where everyone can congregate and enjoy each other together. That's what it was. It wasn't a storming, we beat number one, or we're the best team in the country or something like that. It was a storming so that we can all be on the field together and just enjoy each other's company and celebrate together.
Listen, if you want to say that the Wisconsin Badgers will never be Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia or whoever it is, then you cannot be upset when they are the dumpster fire season in the middle of right now and storm the field whenever they beat a ranked opponent. They beat a ranked opponent. Like, go ahead. Those students have to be students at that school right now when they're this bad at football. Let the kids have fun. Who cares if they storm the field? Like storming the field take of, wow, we're storming the field against this team. Who cares? They should storm the field when they beat Middle Tennessee State if they want to. Let the kids have fun. Who cares?
We have more to talk about the Badgers in the second hour. Real quick, I just wanted to go through this. I know we got about 90 seconds left. Christian Watson, 7 targets. Dontavian Wicks, 4. Dobbs with 3. Wilson and Musgrove with 2. Fitzpatrick, Brooks, and Wiley with 1 apiece. I complained when Jordan Love fixated on Romeo Dobbs earlier in the season. And the one game he fixated on Bo Melton. I got to say, fixating on Christian Watson just feels different. Like having Christian Watson out there feels different.
He looks good, man. And I love what he brings to this team. And I like that they're not using him as the take the top off guy.
Yes. And Greg Ellison mentioned that too. It's like you don't need to just use him as that.
Yeah, he might be good. He might be really good. If he's healthy, stays healthy,
He stays
he
healthy.
might be really good.
Matthew Golden again with the inactive.
Yeah.
I almost think you throw the season away for him, and you have the same expectations for him for next year, though. Like, I think he's still going to be a great piece to this offense, moving forward. It just might not be this season.
Matthew Golden touchdown on Thanksgiving.
Ooh, I don't hate that. I do not hate that. When we come back, we're going to go through our pick review, talk about what happened in the rest of the NFL and the NFC North, and Ryan Wood at 1:30. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
What up, Wisconsin? This is Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. My name's Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. Find me at Thunder MKE. Find all of us at WI Sports Radio. It's middays with Thunder and Tommy right here on the Mason Crosby Show. Mason's out. It is Thanksgiving week, and Mr. Tommy Works. Number one favorite thing, traditional Thanksgiving fare to eat. What is your number one?
It's stuffing. It's not even close.
Is it wet stuffing that's been in the bird, or is it stuffing that's been outside of the bird, or does it not matter?
Both are elite. Stovetop, whatever it is, like stuffing it. The reason why it's so good is because you don't eat it any other time of the year, too.
You're not wrong.
You can't have stuffing and it not be this week Go ahead.
All right. So when I was in college, I didn't grow up with stuffing at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, we had sweet potatoes, we had mashed potatoes, we had turkey. When I was younger, I would go with my mom places. And then when I moved to Wisconsin, when I was 14, Thanksgiving was always a holiday. I went back with my dad, to visit my dad. And my dad was, he was just a single guy living by himself. But he had lots of friends. So we would hit like 3 different houses on Thanksgiving. So then I got introduced to stuffing, like when I was in high school. When I was in college, every once in a while, like on a cold March day, I would go and buy a box of stovetop stuffing and do it. And you know what? It hit just as hard. But again, to your point, I would do that one other time all year.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't do it once a week or anything like that. I would do it on a March day where I was just ready for spring and it wasn't coming and it was rainy and it was 33 degrees, so it wasn't quite icy out. I would go buy a box of stovetop stuffing and it would just make my insides warm because it would remind me of Thanksgiving. I would do it once a year and it would hit just as hard. Maybe we should do like a end of winter Thanksgiving in Wisconsin and like do it like around March Madness. We should do like a Thanksgiving themed dinner. I don't hate that. All right. I might have just created a new holiday. If you did, you can call it Thunder Giving.
Mitch Giving.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Mitch Giving actually flows a little bit better.
I think so.
Yeah. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. The Packers 23-6 over the Vikings. The Bears escape the Steelers 31-28 with no Aaron Rodgers. I guess his ownership of the Bears continues because he didn't play in this game, but I don't know.
That was dumb.
Yeah, that was dumb. And then the Lions beating the Giants was dumb. Giants up 27-17 in the fourth quarter. Lions come back to tie it and win in overtime 34-27. Packers had an opportunity to jump the Bears and really bury the Lions down in the NFC North. None of that happened. And now we got the short week, not just for the Packers and Lions, who are playing at noon on Thursday. But for those of you following along at home, Friday is Bears at Eagles, 2 p.m. kickoff on Prime Video.
Whose line is it anyway?
Eagles 8?
I was going to say it's got to be at least a touchdown for the Eagles, right?
It might not be.
One,
it could be 6.5.
It is Eagles 7.
7, okay.
I was out. I mean, we're right back to guessing where it should be.
Yeah. And that's after last night. Or the game of the week. What is 5? Like, that's so dumb that the 3:25 game is the game of the week. I don't understand that whole concept. But anyway, the Eagles up 21-0 in that game in the first quarter. Don't score again, and the Cowboys come back. I was really wishing the Cowboys wouldn't have gotten so close, because I wanted to see a Brandon Aubrey 74-yarder to win it. Like, I just wanted him to obliterate the record forever. Instead, it was like a 33-yarder or whatever. It was and he almost kicked it too high.
Yeah.
If you saw it, It was like, what's going on here? Like, but the Cowboys do come back, which actually brings the Eagles back to the pack in the NFC. They're going to be fighting for playoff positioning now.
Yeah, I think that looking around the rest of the NFL, a lot of things could have went really well for the Packers, and that was the only one where it kind of goes in favor of Green Bay. In the other results was that Eagles game. The Rams look like they are just unreal right now. I think that there's not a lot of fear.
They might be peaking early, though.
They could be peaking early.
Yep, that is a thing.
But they look just disgusting this point.
They do.
Matthew Stafford has this infusion of youth to him. Puka is crazy. How about the Seahawks, too, and JSN right now? Because Jackson Smith and Jigba is unreal.
He's on pace for 2,000 yards,
right?
Which would break the record. He has the most receiving yards in Seahawks history, and it's through 11 games.
Yes,
I mean we're talking. He just broke DK Metcalf's record. Steve Largent's name is like on the top 10 4 or 5 different times, and JSN already is number 1.
Yeah, he's unreal, and thankfully, their quarterback could have been a Minnesota Viking. So
thank you, Vikings. Yes,
that was. I can't believe that they've now made that transition from Darnold to McCarthy, and it's looked as bad as it has. I mean, Sam Darnold, a great year with them last year, and all the earning in the world of that contract that he got, and now it's JSN and the Seahawks that get the benefit, as opposed to it being the Minnesota Vikings. But the NFC North, I feel like I don't want to call it frauds right now.
Okay.
But the Bears at 8-3, I don't think anyone takes that seriously.
The Bears and the Patriots. I'm going to throw the Patriots in there too. I know the Patriots are good. They're 10-2. They're the 1 seed in the AFC right now.
Overall NFL, the only team with 10 wins.
That's true. But the Bears and the Patriots far and away have had the easiest schedules in the NFL. The strength of schedule for them is like numerous decimal points better than everyone else. And for the Patriots, it doesn't get much harder. I mean, they do have the Ravens, who are just and they have the Bills, but besides that, they have the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Giants left. For the Bears, it does get significantly harder, mostly because they've got the Eagles and the Packers twice.
Yes, they have a pretty gruesome schedule at the back end. It's Eagles, Packers, Browns, which Shador.
You never know.
I mean, Shador,
no.
Maybe interesting.
No. Miles.
I mean,
Miles
and Shador, but
Miles is going to have fun chasing Caleb around.
And then they have the Packers, Niners, and Lions to close out in the next 3.
Could they go 1-5 and finish 9-8?
That would be funny. That's the funniest way.
But I don't think that's funny. I think that's actually realistic. Like, I think they'll get to 2-4. If they go 3-3, that would be something. Well, but I don't think they go 3-3 against that schedule.
Do you think they can split with Green Bay?
No.
Yes.
Can they? Yes. I don't think they will.
Okay. All right.
I do think the Packers will end up figuring out how to take care of business. But it wouldn't shock me if they split. But I think they lose to the Eagles. I think they lose to the Lions, though that game's in Chicago.
Yep.
So they could win. Where's the Niners game?
It's in San Fran.
Right. I mean, I think they'll lose to San Francisco, but you never know. Again,
they could lose to Cleveland. Cleveland is a team that is sneaky decent. I mean, the Bears' schedule this season, they have a 1-point victory over the Raiders. They have a 1-point victory over the Commanders. They have the
bad Commanders, by the way.
They gave up 42, but scored 47 against the Cincinnati Bengals. They've lost to the Vikings when JJ was quarterback this year as well. Like, they have some pretty ugly games. They also lost to the Ravens when it was Huntley starting, not Lamar. And only a 4-point victory over the Giants and a 3-point victory over the Steelers with no Aaron Rodgers.
So they could go anywhere from like 1-5 to I don't think they could go 4-2 with that schedule. But they can get to 3-3. If they get to 3-3, they're in the playoffs. If they get to 1-5, they're not making the playoffs. I think it's more likely they go 1-5.
If they go 1-5,
no, because they'll be behind. They'll be behind San Francisco, Detroit, and Seattle in the wild card.
Well, again, like, you got to look at this NFC West, and it's unreal what they're doing right now. But
all 3 of those teams are probably going to make it. But right now, the Niners aren't even in.
Well, if the Panthers beat the Niners tonight, things get interesting.
That flips everything on
things get interesting
because then the Panthers jump the Buccaneers.
Yes,
and then the Panthers move up to 4.
And the Niners are 7-point favorites today. I think that number's too high. I think this Panthers team is sneaky.
Except they're so inconsistent.
They are very
They could lose 31-0, or they could hang the whole way and win on a last-second field goal.
Yeah.
414-677-1250. Your thoughts across the NFL as we take a look at the NFC North, the NFC, and more. Real quick, just want to say hi to Kevin in Franklin, Wisconsin. He's new to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. He chimed in. He threw up a text. So want to thank Kevin for jumping on. 414 says, Thunder, what about Arrowhead? Dang. I'm like, no, we said congrats to Arrowhead.
Right.
We also, I don't know if we gave congrats to Bayport's head coach, but I don't hate going for the win.
No,
I don't hate
go for the win. Whatever. Yeah. It's
and then 919 comes in and says Bears have been killing the backups.
Yeah, well, and that's my point. I also think that I brought it up to you. It wasn't really on the rundown, but I think it's a good segue with it of the Packers A game can go toe to toe with just about anyone else in the NFC's A game, in my opinion. And the team that really, I think, I fear the most on that competition is the Los Angeles Rams. They looked amazing yesterday on Sunday Night Football in a game that didn't matter after the first quarter. The Eagles, obviously, there too.
Are you surprised the Buccaneers looked that bad, though?
The Buccaneers are really banged up, man. They don't have Mike Evans anymore. Igbuka's been unhealthy. Godwin came back, but he's coming back from a bad injury. Like the Buccaneers, they don't have Bucky Irving right now. It's just been Rashad White. So
and that other guy who had 3 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, Tucker, right? Or whatever it is. Yeah. So the NFC South, I think, is like turning into the NFC South, right? As a whole. The Packers are better than every team in that division, even though they've lost to the Panthers this year. I would love to run that game back.
Of course,
I don't think that. I think that was a terrible day, terrible timing, whatever it comes to. The Eagles, I think we saw that where the Packers did not play their A game and still were able to lose 10-7 in that contest. The Cowboys, I think they actually scare me more as far as A game goes than a lot of other teams, but the Cowboys.
I think that's fair.
I think they are better than 5-1 right now. They're just unfortunate in a couple other games. But Packers, Lions, Rams, Eagles, like that's the 4 right now. As far as if Green Bay can play their best football game against that other team's best football game,
right?
I like Green Bay in, I think, all but that Rams game right now, what I've seen so far from this team.
And I agree. And looking at, if they were to play the Rams in LA, that's a 50-50 crowd.
Yeah.
Right? That's not every time the Packers go to play in LA, like that's not an LA crowd. So that, that's another one that is a controlled environment that you would love to see Jordan Love have the opportunity to just open it up with his wide receivers. If all the wide receivers are healthy, I think the Packers can put up big numbers against the Rams. I think to me, I'm more scared of the Eagles than the Rams. I know the Eagles lost last night, and they haven't. This is now 3 straight games where they've kind of struggled. We thought maybe they busted out of it yesterday, and clearly didn't. But they beat the Lions, but didn't score. They beat the Packers, but didn't score. Their offense is a mess right now. But again, if they have that one game where the offense comes together, they have the players. They have the offensive line. They have the receivers, the tight end, the running back, and the quarterback. I mean, they have the players to make it happen. It's just not happening for them right now. But they're still going to make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And their division, they're way ahead right now. They're still up 3 games on them. I think that, or 2.5 because of the tie.
Right.
I just really do think that while there is a lot of criticism and a lot to look at with this Packers team on saying like they need to be here if you want to feel this way, I think there's a lot of teams in that boat right now. And as you said, brought up with the Rams, like while they look like they are the most complete team right now, are they peaking too early in this time with the Rams right now? Should I go over the rest of the picks here? And I think we'll do picks on Friday this week. Does that make the most sense?
Well, no, I mean, we have to pick the Packers game and we have to pick the Bears game. I think we need to do it on Wednesday.
Yeah, but you're not here and Crosby's not here.
I think I can call in. Can we get, I don't know what we could, I mean, we have to pick
I'll talk it over with Mr. Spark. I'll talk it over.
I mean,
otherwise,
we have to pick those games. We have to pick the Packers game.
We do pick them every week.
Yeah, and I think we have to pick the Bears game too. Real quick, I was just looking at this. The Rams are at the Panthers this week, then at the Cardinals, home against the Lions. That's always a good shootout.
Yep.
And then at Seahawks, at Falcons, home against Arizona.
So the Rams are going to be the number one
twice.
seed.
Yeah.
The Rams are going to be the 1 seed.
Yeah. I mean, they could stumble at Seattle. They probably won't stumble at Atlanta.
They're 13-4.
They lose 2 games. They're 13. Yeah.
They're the 1 seed. They're the 1 seed right now. They've done their job.
They are favored for sure.
For sure
to win the NFC.
They are, I believe, the betting favorite for future Super Bowl odds now.
Super Bowl. Yeah, they are what the Super Bowl, according to our friends at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Rams are plus 425. Then the Eagles plus 600. The Chiefs are third at plus 1,000 after the win yesterday. Then the Bills. How are the Bills still in there? Like, don't we know the Bills are frauds by now? Like they can make the playoffs, but I don't think the Bills stink.
14-1 for Green Bay right
now.
now.
Bills, Lions, Colts, and Seahawks all 11-1. So, all right, let's go through the rest of the picks.
Going through our picks, Mitch Nellis, you won the week 3-2-1. That was
what
your
did we all
record.
Push?
We all pushed on the Steelers Bears. That was a 3-point spread. And again, I feel like we probably would have went the other way and been screwed either way.
Right, it would have been a push no matter what.
So we get pushed on that game. You guys both had Green Bay. I had Green Bay to win, but Minnesota to cover, right, which did not happen. And I guess I didn't realize how terrible 9 was at all.
No, none of us did.
Lions, we all had them on 10.5, but man, Jameis Winston, he's just so fun to watch play football. He might not be good, but he is so fun to watch.
But his excitement.
Oregon USC.
Yeah, let's go.
You were the only one that picked Oregon. That game was very frustrating to watch because you can see how USC should be better at football than they really are.
But they haven't been in a number of years now.
They have the quarterback.
Even with Caleb, they weren't.
Have the wide receiver talent. That game was USC could be something amazing if Lincoln Riley ever got a defense situation. And
real quick, breaking news out of Cleveland. Gabriel has been cleared, but Shador will remain QB1.
Why not? Just
Yeah.
And maybe Myles Garrett.
He's 1-0.
Yeah. And our solo games, well, we all picked Illinois, and the Badgers ended up winning outright in that one, which happy to be wrong about that.
That was so much fun to watch.
Solo games, Crosby had the Patriots 6.5 on the Bengals, I believe it was.
Yes, it was. And lost by half. He lost by the hook.
Yep. 6 point in that one. The pick sixes, what do we always say? Pick sixes are going to torch you on spreads.
Yep.
Mitch Nellis.
Although I believe both teams had a pick six in that one. But
either way,
you're right.
Messes everything up.
Right.
Mitch Nellis was riding with Tennessee, who, just went into the swamp and made it look like that means nothing.
31-0 at the half. I think the final was 31-11. I think they took a knee the entire second half, knowing Florida couldn't do anything.
They weren't doing anything. That's a dumpster fire of a situation they got going on over there. And then the Jags, man. Trevor Lawrence, he won the game. They won by 3. I push again on the spread of 3, trying to ride with him 2 weeks in a row. Trevor Lawrence.
Did you watch some of it? I watched a lot of that game. That was a weird game.
So this is the thing about Trevor Lawrence is that I know he's not that good at football.
Yes.
He is.
We all agree.
Serviceable at best at football. Yeah. But man, does he have some ugly turnovers and looks unathletic when he makes bad plays sometimes. Who
was the color guy on that? Do you know who the broadcast?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I was getting it on Red Zone updates kind of thing.
Because whoever was literally every other play was this guy's terrible and can't play NFL quarterback. They'd be like, oh, look at that great play he made. Then this guy's terrible. He can't play NFL quarterback. Then next play is oh my gosh. And then he makes this play. It's it's crazy how inconsistent he is. Literally play to play, not week to week, not quarter to quarter. Play to play.
Yeah.
He's the most inconsistent player in the NFL, I would argue.
He is. And I would argue that having J.J. McCarthy at quarterback versus having Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, you're almost okay with J.J. McCarthy because he's going to be the guy this year and then he's gone, right? He's done. Trevor Lawrence has the mediocre to good to mediocre to terrible going on with him, where you're in this purgatory of quarterback. We can't move on from him, but
and then he runs And then he runs in a couple touchdowns, even if he has a
Right.
terrible day. And it's like, oh, look what we can do with his legs.
Yeah, well, and again, if like the standard in Green Bay should be Super Bowl every year, right?
Right.
Like that's the
Right.
standard I want as a
Compete
fan.
for it, yes.
Compete for that Super Bowl.
Yes.
In Jacksonville, I don't know if that's necessarily
No,
the same.
make the playoffs.
And Trevor Lawrence is a guy that I look at and I'm like, okay, well, he's never going to win a Super Bowl, right?
But he can make the playoffs.
But could he make the playoffs and be fun for a year? I think this Jags team is kind of fun. I think they're kind of fun, and they're better than, most in the NFL right now. And they're in a division in the AFC South where, things can happen, whatever it is. And you brought it up yesterday. We should touch on it, or today rather. Dude, the Chiefs are just going to win the Super Bowl, right? Like, what are the betting odds right now?
I hate it.
To go look at the Chiefs are at 10-1 right now to win the Super Bowl.
They're not bad. Like, they are way overrated for what their record is.
Yeah,
but they just find ways to win.
Dude, they're gonna sneak into the playoffs and they're gonna
the Colts should have won that game.
Yes, they should have. They 100% should have.
I do think that game yesterday though shows, like, I think the Colts leave that game knowing they can beat the Chiefs.
Right.
Don't you think they feel that?
I'm gonna guess no, actually. I think you leave that game feeling like, wow, we can't beat the Chiefs. Like, that was our moment to beat the Chiefs, and they still did not. And I would just say this, that the Kansas City Chiefs are gonna be making a playoff run, like, compared to everyone else.
Start today. The Chiefs are 10th in the AFC right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're in a tie with Pittsburgh and Houston. They lose the tiebreaker against Pittsburgh and Houston for now. That's based on conference games. So that could change very quickly. The Chargers, Jaguars, and Bills are all tied at 7-4. Steelers, Texans, and Chiefs all tied at 6-5.
Who are the teams they were tied with the six? That
the Chiefs are tied with?
Yeah,
Pittsburgh and Houston.
So they get to play Houston in 2 weeks.
Okay.
In Kansas City, so that'll be a win. They're playing.
It might not be though. Houston's defense is real.
This Thursday, they're playing as well against Dallas.
I'm not like that's another coin flip game.
They're currently down a game to the Chargers, who they get to play on December 14th.
Right.
Then they get the bye week of the Titans on December 21st. Then it's Broncos on Christmas.
They're 3 games behind the Broncos. That would be tough to make up 3 games in 3 and 6. They could. But they also, Broncos already beat them once. So
their schedule remaining: Cowboys, Texans, Chargers, Titans, Broncos, Raiders. They kind of control their own destiny.
Yeah, Titans and Raiders, that's 2 wins for sure.
Yeah, and the Texans, if they beat them, they're going to pass them back up. The Chargers, if they're continuing to beat, like, I'm telling you, the Chiefs.
It would be great if it went sideways.
Betting the Chiefs 10-1 to win the Super Bowl feels like the best odds you're going to get them at.
Did you see this news real quick before we get to Ryan Wood? JJ McCarthy put into concussion protocol after the game.
Yeah.
So after the flight Sunday night, he reported some kind of symptoms in regards to his head. We wanted to get back here once we kind of heard he was evaluated last night. O'Connell said this morning, after completing those tests, our training staff and doctors and medical team have decided that the right place for him is to put him in the protocol for now. Their quarterback is Max Brosmer. Bro.
Yep.
Max Bro.
Minnesota legend.
Yes, Minnesota something. Has never, let's see, he has taken in his career, he's 5 for 8 in his that's projected career. I can't read any of this. Max Brosmer would be the quarterback for the Vikings. JJ McCarthy in concussion protocol.
Mm-hmm.
He did take a hit yesterday that looked like he got knocked a little silly. There was a hit.
Well, when he was on, like, his neck. Yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah. Yep. Ryan Wood, Green Bay Press Gazette, coming up next. He will join us here on the Mason Crosby Show. We're continuing talking Packers, who right now, the 6th seed. I would love if the playoffs ended today. You give me Packers at Bears, I would take that all day and twice on Saturday and Sunday, and maybe even Friday night, because I think there's a playoff game now on Friday night. Right? 1 on Friday night, 2 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday now. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. It is Thunder and Tommy middays. We were high noon. Now we are getting deep into the afternoon as we head into Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. That's with Sparky and Charlie from 2 to 5. Can't wait for that. Remember, all of your favorite shows, wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether it's Apple or Spotify or whatever, just search up the Mason Crosby Show. It's there. Make sure you smash that follow button every time you listen. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all. Green Bay Press Gazette, Packers beat reporter Ryan Wood, our weekly guest. Ryan, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to some Thanksgiving turkey, but even more, a Thanksgiving mini buy this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there's a game on Thursday, but then you get a couple days off, right?
And that'll be wonderful. And I imagine the players feel the same way. Look, that early season bye week can become a late season death march. And so they got to get through this short week. They're going to have no issue finding motivation to get through this week. This is a very big week for them, obviously. But I imagine they're looking forward to the weekend as well.
Ryan, do you go home that night? Is it still early enough where you can just go back from Detroit right away and you can still hang out for Thanksgiving that night? Because I know a bunch of players probably do that.
Or do you do Thanksgiving more on the weekend because you have to work on Thursday?
Yeah, so I looked for a flight that night, but was not able to find one that was late enough that I'd be able to file my work at the stadium at Ford Field and then make it. So I'll be coming back early Friday morning.
Got it.
And then Thanksgiving in my household will be Friday evening. We'll have a nice family dinner.
Nice.
Will Detroit serve traditional Thanksgiving fare, or do they serve breakfast for a noon game on Thursday?
Okay, so we're venturing into the categories of things that people like me, people that do this every week for a living, deeply care about, and nobody else. No one wants to hear.
What? You'd be surprised. I think there's a little bit of interest here about what it's like to actually have to work on Thursday.
No one wants to hear us complain about press box food, but
right.
The press box food in Ford Field, let's just say, is notoriously not good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, no,
That's
I'm not
dumb.
looking forward to a feast at Ford Field.
Got it.
All right. Well, let's get to yesterday's game. Packers 23, Vikings 6. Has anyone ever played quarterback at a worse level in the NFL than J.J. McCarthy yesterday?
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
I saw Brett Hundley play quarterback, so it's happened. The difference is that Brett Hundley was a 5th-round pick and not the future of the Packers franchise. He only played because Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone. So the Packers back in 2017 didn't allow Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones to leave their building in the offseason because they were so convinced that Brett Hundley was going to lead them to the promised land. That's what makes this painful. And in those terms, I mean, Ryan Leaf was a bust. There are busts.
Sure.
It is too early to say that J.J. McCarthy is going to be a bust because he's had 6 games. And even more than that, he really is a rookie. He didn't have 3 seasons of practice squad reps like Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. He didn't have a season of practice squad reps because he was
hurt.
He was hurt last year. He wasn't running the scout team. So this is a true rookie quarterback, and it was why the Packers should have been such a good matchup for them, a bad matchup for J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. But we've seen that story before, right? 2 of their 3 losses, they were double-digit favorites, and they lost. So you have to give them credit for doing what they should do on paper and leaving him a crumpled mess of a quarterback. That's what they did.
They really did. Ryan Wood joining us here on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. We're on Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. On the other side, for our Green Bay Packers, is there a Jordan Love update? And in general, when you looked at the offense yesterday, is there any concern for the vanilla-ness of the offense, or did they just set out to do what they needed to do, come out with a victory with as much it was like a pregame preparation for the Lions during the game yesterday? It felt like that, get out with no injuries, get out as quick as we can, be done by 2:40. We got a game on Thursday. Let's just get out of here.
The first is much easier than the second because the second requires nuance. As far as Jordan Love goes, The update was that there was no update. That's a good thing. He got out of that game with a completely fine left shoulder, no setback at all. He's good to go for Thanksgiving in Detroit. As far as the offensive approach and philosophy, I'm not saying this is an explosive offense, and I get that the Packers, with how they've played offensively for a while now, don't get the benefit of doubt, but I do believe it is very real that the Packers, very early in that game against the Vikings, look across the field. They see what their defense can and is doing to J.J. McCarthy. They realize the bar is so low that so long as you don't trip on it on your way to the ground, you're fine. And two things come into play. One, you want to protect your quarterback against that Brian Flores defense that blitzes a ton. You don't want him getting a ton of hits when he's playing through that left shoulder. And on top of that, why would you empty your bag? Why would you be anything more than as creative or aggressive as you need to be to absolutely own the Vikings when you've got a game against the Lions in 4 days if you're Matt LaFleur? Like, why would you empty your bag in that situation? It doesn't make sense.
No reason to, right?
No reason to. So they don't get the benefit of that. I'm not saying that this is an explosive offense, that this just didn't try to be explosive. I'm saying that this is an offense that is struggling, that also did not try to fix all of that explosive issues in this game because there was no reason to.
Ryan Wood, Green Bay Press Gazette, joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. Follow him on Twitter @by Ryan Wood. Ryan, we got to talking yesterday during the Green Bay football postgame show. I was pretty pleased with the performance that Green Bay had yesterday, but specifically on the defensive side, something that kind of escaped us yesterday. Keyshawn Nixon went down with the injury, and Kamal Hadden came into play, and Bo Melton nowhere to be seen right now. I'm wondering, how did you feel about Kamal Hadden's first performances? I believe those were his first career NFL snaps. And is it truly now this Bo Melton experiment, whatever it is, could be over in Green Bay?
I don't think the experiment is over. I think two things. One, it makes sense that since Bo Melton has had to spend so much practice time over the past couple of weeks relearning, reacclimating to receiver, that he might not have been your first option off the sideline over a guy who's only played corner the past couple of weeks. Two, I don't know, it was very interesting. Matt LaFleur said that Hayden was maybe the most improved player on the defense. We haven't seen any of that, but he was very, very complimentary of the progression that young cornerback has had. And so what did I think about it? Honestly, I think he was covering receivers who had J.J. McCarthy throwing him passes. I don't really have much of a deep evaluation. He was not a problem, but it would have been a huge problem if he was a problem against that quarterback. So I'd like to see against a quarterback that knows how to throw well before I make any evaluation there.
And then to follow up with that, the Keyshawn Nixon part of it, it was a stinger yesterday. Have we learned that he went into concussion protocol or anything today? What's the word on Nixon?
No, a stinger. So, and Matt LaFleur said that he's day-to-day, but given this week, which is a short week with a game in 3 days, that puts, in his words, Keyshawn Nixon in question for the Lions.
Ryan Wood joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show, middays with Thunder and Tommy in for Mason today. Christian Watson just looks great. And the thing I said about looking at the box score, and I watched the whole game, so I'm not just reading the box score. But the way it seemed like Jordan Love was throwing to Romeo Doubs over and over and over again. And there were a couple of games there where he was getting 10 targets and everybody else was getting 4 or fewer. With Christian Watson leading the way with 7 targets yesterday, with him leading in targets, it felt different than in games when Romeo Doubs led in targets. And I don't know if that's Christian Watson's athleticism or flow or whatever that is. To me, it feels a little different watching what he can do on the field and what it means for this offense. Am I just making that up in my head because I like Christian more than Romeo, or do you think there's something there?
No, he's their best receiver. He should get the ball as much as possible. And for that reason, I'm not sure that the most important number that happened all day against the Vikings was 7. That's how many targets Christian Watson had in his 5th game back from a torn ACL. In his previous 4, he didn't have over 5. So that's a step in the right direction because, honestly, he could have 10 And that might still not be enough. Like, they cannot get the ball enough to Christian Watson, given the current landscape of the receiving corps. That might change if Matthew Golden is healthy and returns from the shoulder and is playing. Maybe he needs some more targets. When Jaden Reed comes back, that's certainly you're going to spread it out maybe a little bit more. But given what the landscape is there, you cannot throw it to him enough. I don't know, and they're never going to say this, but I do wonder if they slid him up in the progression a little bit. They're not going to say that because they're not going to throw any of the other receivers on the bus, but it felt like Jordan Love was looking to him more. I thought it was most impressive. You remember back to 2022 when Christian Watson was a rookie. He came into the league doing one thing very, very well and not a lot else. His straight line speed, his ability to take off.
Throw it as deep as possible, right?
It was prodigious. Like, he just came in with that natural ability. What you saw against the Vikings was Christian Watson, the possession receiver. And that's a big deal. Like, we didn't see that for a very long time in his career, his ability just to run those short to intermediate routes, be secure with his hands, get open, finish the catch, keep the chains moving. We didn't see him go deep. That was an entirely different skill set. And if he can add that to what I do, I mean, he's had deep catches since coming back from the torn ACL. If he can add both, that's when you start talking about a number one receiver. He just needs number one receiver targets on a weekly basis.
Absolutely. Ryan, and then switching over to the defense, the Micah Parsons experience, Micah Parsons experiment, Micah Parsons everything. Yesterday, it looked like what we wanted it to look like as fans. I'm guessing this is what the team envisioned when they made that deal for him. Is this just going to get better the last, 6 games of the year? Is what Micah Parsons can bring to this defense really being solidified in front of our eyes right now?
It will get better if, and let's get into that. The reason why this was the most complimentary football performance that they had since the first 2 weeks is offensively, the bar was so low because of what the Packers defense was doing to J.J. McCarthy in the offense. But the defense, especially in that second half, was so dominant because they finally had a significant lead, which they just have not had a lot of late. The fact that the Packers scored a touchdown on the opening drive since week 4, they're up 7-3. The fact that the special teams provided the muff punt recover, that the Packers in 2 plays punched it in from the 6. Now they're up 17-6. It's a double-digit lead. And what did the pass rush do immediately after that on the next drive? They had like 3 sacks in the next 2 series. That's not a coincidence. This is a defense especially that is designed to play with the lead. As Matt LaFleur said after the game, it's the first time in a long time he felt this pass rushers could just pin their ears back and go. If they do that to the Lions, if they do that to anyone, this is a much different football team because that's when Micah Parsons is at his best. Devontae Wyatt, for good reason, everyone wants to talk about Micah Parsons. 5 straight seasons now, double-digit sacks, is just phenomenal. It's a first line on a future Hall of Fame ballot. But Devontae Wyatt ending his sack drought since week 2, getting 2 sacks on J.J. McCarthy, his first since coming back from the knee injury. If he's back and you have Micah Parsons, you have that inside edge push, that's the makings of a very elite pass rush.
Ryan Wood, we only have about a minute left or so. We have to talk about Emmanuel Wilson and how great he was. There's no running back controversy. Do you expect Josh Jacobs back in full force on Thursday? And what does it say about Emmanuel Wilson that he was able to step up the way he did?
I expect Josh Jacobs back. We'll see if he's full force. He'll certainly be closer to that than he would have been if he played. And that is why this was the definition of having your cake and eating it too, because the Packers had to know that playing Emmanuel Wilson was not going to sacrifice this week against the Vikings, and it gave them the best option to keep Josh Jacobs fresh. Emmanuel Wilson, I talked to him at length after the game at his locker. He didn't know until yesterday morning. He truly did not know because he's seeing Josh Jacobs not practice Wednesday. Then he gets practice reps Thursday and Friday, and they're in their Saturday regular walkthrough. Josh Jacobs did not participate, but he was locked in and engaged and very much looking like a workhorse running back that was going to fight somebody if he didn't play. And then cooler heads prevail Sunday morning, and he sees the bigger picture. The Packers see the bigger picture. They sit him. They put the game in Emmanuel Wilson's hands. It's not the 170 yards or even the 2 touchdowns, 28 carries. No fumbles, perfect ball security. And that's 5 more carries than Josh Jacobs has had in the game this year. It's 7 more carries than Jordan Love had passes. The backup running back didn't just play. He had the game in his hands and he delivered. That's a luxury to have.
Yeah, that really is. Ryan, thank you so much for jumping on. I'm glad we could accommodate your flexibility today, and we will definitely talk to you soon and hear you and follow you, and have good travels and happy Thanksgiving, my man.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks so much. That's Ryan Wood, Green Bay Press Gazette. Follow him at by Ryan Wood. He joins us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. We'll come back, wrap things up, set things up for Sparky when we come back. He's Tommy. I'm Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. It's Monday, gotta get down on Monday. Everybody's looking forward to Thanksgiving Monday. You like what I did there, huh,
That
Tommy?
was pretty good.
Nailed it. Yes.
Yeah, that was what the people tune in for.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. We're in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Only a few minutes left here on the Mason Crosby Show. I am out the rest of the week. I travel tomorrow, 7 a.m. flight. If anybody is at Mitchell International Airport tomorrow morning, well, first of all, if anybody's going from the North Shore and wants to give me a ride, that would be fantastic. Big Rumble and I, otherwise we're going to Lyft or Uber or whatever those things are. But we're leaving tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday doing the show from Tennessee, where we will be for Thanksgiving. Lots going on, though. Tonight, the Trailblazers are at the Bucks. 7 o'clock tip-off. Bucks 1.5-point favorite. Trailblazers played at Oklahoma City Thunder last night, got lost by like 37, so nobody played a lot of minutes. Drew Holiday did not play last night. I don't know if he's scheduled to play or not tonight. He's been gone. He won't get a video, though. He's been gone for a number of years. But then a lot coming up. The Bucks are at Miami in the NBA Cup on Wednesday, and then at New York Knicks on Friday in the NBA Cup. Thursday, of course, we know we've got Packers, Lions, then Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens. Joe Burrow may play Thursday night. All signs are pointing toward yes for the Bengals Thursday night. The Badgers men's basketball team also playing Providence on Thursday at 4:30. That's in San Diego.
Yeah, throw the record books out when it's
Providence. when that's right. That's that classic Big East, Big Ten challenge. Providence plays dirty, so we'll see how that goes. Friday, Marquette's taking on Oklahoma and Chicago. The Bears are playing the Eagles. The Badgers will play either TCU or Florida. And then Saturday, the Wisconsin Badgers football team playing at Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, for the Axe at 2:30 on FS1. Minnesota only a 2.5-point favorite. ESPN predictor has the Badgers at a 50.4% chance to win this football game.
Can I tell you something?
You can tell me everything.
I'm going to bet the Badgers.
Really?
I'm going to bet them.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do here.
They've turned me.
Yeah, wow. I love that. I'm looking forward to Sparky coming on. Sparky's filling in for me and Mason the next couple of days. It's going to be a crazy few days. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing week. Hug your family. Let's all make kindness contagious. This is the Mason Crosby Show.